Now we are going to see more about the first conjugation, verbs that end in "ar". There are 3 conjugations. In this lesson, we are only seeing the first conjugation. Don't try to memorize everything. Much of this content is not used in everyday language. We will work with the verb falar, that means to speak. First of all, indicative mood, presente. Eu falo, tu falas, ele fala. Nós falamos, vós falais, eles falam. Pretérito imperfeito. Eu falava, tu falavas, ele falava. Nós falávamos, vós faláveis, eles falavam. Pretérito perfeito. Eu falei, tu falaste, ele falou. Nós falamos, vós falastes, eles falaram. Pretérito mais que perfeito. Eu falara, tu falaras, ele falara. Nós faláramos, vós falareis, eles falaram. Futuro do presente. Eu falarei, tu falarás, ele falará. Nós falaremos, vós falareis, eles falarão. Futuro do pretérito. Eu falaria, tu falarias, ele falaria. Nós falaríamos, vós falaríeis, eles falariam. Subjuntivo, presente. Que eu fale, que tu fales, que ele fale. Que nós falemos, que vós faleis, que eles falem. Subjuntivo, pretérito imperfeito. Se eu falasse, se tu falasses, se ele falasse. Se nós falássemos, se vós falasseis, se eles falassem. Subjuntivo, futuro. Quando eu falar, quando tu falares, quando ele falar. Quando nós falarmos, quando vós falardes, quando eles falarem. Imperativo. Fala tu, fale ele, falemos nós, falai vós, falem eles. Imperativo negativo. Não fales tu, não fale ele, não falemos nós, não faleis vós, não falem eles. Infinitivo pessoal. Por falar eu, por falares tu, por falar ele, por falarmos nós, por falardes vós, por falarem eles. Infinitivo, falar. Exemplo, eu quero falar. Gerúndio, falando. Exemplo, eu estou falando. Particípio, falado. Exemplo, eu tinha falado. And now I will mention other verbs of the first conjugation. Chamar, gostar, cantar, viajar, visitar, enviar, comprar, beijar, lutar, andar, queimar, colocar, lavar, aumentar. That is it. I see you later. In this lesson, we will talk a little more about verbs. We will talk about future. We have already seen about futuro do presente. Eu falarei, ele falará. And we have also seen about futuro do pretérito. Eu falaria, ele falaria. I will also mention about tempos compostos, compound tenses. This lesson is not about these tenses. I'll just show them briefly. One of the uses of compound tenses is in situations related to conditional or time clauses. They are formed by verb ter or verb haver plus particípio, participle. Futuro do presente composto, ele terá falado. Futuro do pretérito composto, ele teria falado. Futuro do subjuntivo composto, ele tiver falado. Now let's see this. Futuro do presente. Ele falará. He will speak. We have already seen this. People also use this construction. Ele irá falar. Ele irá falar. We have the future of the verb ir, that means to go, and the infinitive form of the main verb. Ele irá falar. Now an even more common way. Ele vai falar. Ele vai falar. In this construction, the verb ir is in the present and the main verb is also in the infinitive form. The auxiliary verb is in the present, but the final meaning is future. Ele vai falar. Ele vai falar. This construction is less formal but is very used in everyday language. Now let's see the futuro do pretérito. Ele falaria. He would speak. Basic form, ele falaria. Now this other form. Ele iria falar. Ele iria falar. Verb ir in the futuro do pretérito plus infinitive form. Ele iria falar. And now a very popular construction. Ele ia falar. Ele ia falar. This form uses the verb ir in the pretérito imperfeito plus the main verb in the infinitive form. Ele ia falar. Ele ia falar. In this case, it is also equivalent to he would speak. Now let's conclude. Futuro. Ele falará. Ele irá falar. Ele vai falar. He will speak. Futuro do pretérito. Ele falaria. Ele iria falar. Ele ia falar. He would speak. That is it. I see you later. Now let's see a little more about pronunciation. The pronunciation of LH and NH, LH and NH. Let's see the syllables. Lha, lhe, li, lho, lhu. Nha, nhe, ni, nho, nhu. LH, LH. The sound is lh, lh, lh. Some words with LH. Alho, alho, garlic. Telha, telha. Roof tile. Ilha, ilha, island. If it is too difficult to pronounce lh, 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 in case of need, you can pronounce li, li. The correct is ilha, ilha. But if you say ilha, 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 it's not correct, but people will understand. Actually, some native speakers pronounce this way. Now NH, NH. The sound is ñ, ñ, ñ. Some words with NH. Amanhã, amanhã. Tomorrow. Ninho, ninho. Nest. Banheira, banheira. Bathtub. Now more examples of LH and NH. Molho, molho. Sauce. Olho, olho. Eye. Bolha, bolha. Bubble. Lenha, lenha. Firewood. Canhão, canhão. Cannon. Vinho, vinho. Wine. That's it. I see you later. Now let's talk about prepositions. Preposições. We will not talk about all prepositions. In this lesson, we will see the following ones. A, com, de, em, para, por. The ancient form is per, and at last, sem. In other lesson, we have already seen that a can be a female definite article. Example, a mulher comprou a mesa. The woman bought the table. In this lesson, we will see the preposition a. It is many times translated as to. The preposition a can express many relations, as movement, place, manner, or reference. Some examples. Ele fala a todos. He speaks to everyone. Ele foi a Roma. He went to Rome. The preposition a may be contracted with the article o, forming ao. And the preposition a may be contracted with the article a, forming a. The pronunciation is the same, but there is a graphic accent called acento grave, indicating the crase, the contraction of identical vowels. Don't worry about this now, it's just a quick note. So the examples, ele falou a Pedro. He spoke to Peter. Ele falou ao homem. Ele falou ao homem. He spoke to the man. Ele falou à mulher. Ele falou à mulher. He spoke to the woman. Now the preposition com. That is usually translated as with. Examples, ele foi com ela. He went with her. Ele é o com a camisa verde. He is the one with the green shirt. And the preposition sem, usually translated as without. Example, ele foi sem ela. Ele foi sem ela. He went without her. Now the preposition de, usually translated as of or from. The preposition de can express many relations, as inclusion, possession, material, origin, and others. Examples, de nós, one of us. Suco de laranja, orange juice. Carro de Daniel, Daniel's car. Morrer de susto, to die of fright. The preposition de can be contracted with the articles o, os, a, as. So we have do, dos, da, das. Example: ela veio das estrelas. She came from the stars. Now the preposition em. Depending on the context, it can be translated as in, on, or at. Examples: ele está em Paris. He's in Paris. Ele está em chamas. He's on fire. Ele está em choque. He's in shock. Ele está em risco. He's at risk. The preposition em can also be contracted with the articles, and then we have no, nos, na, nas. Example: ele está nos Alpes. He's in the Alps. Now the preposition por, in its ancient form, per. It can be translated as by or for. Examples: a maçã foi comida por ela. The apple was eaten by her. Ele fez isso por amor. He did it for love. This preposition can also be contracted with articles. So we have pelo, pelos, pela, pelas. Example: ela lutou pela causa. Ela lutou pela causa. She fought for the cause. Now the preposition para, usually translated as to or for, depending on the context. Examples: eu trouxe alimento para todos. I brought food for everyone. Esta ferramenta é para perfuração. This tool is for drilling. Nascido para dançar. Born to dance. That's it. I see you later. Now we are going to talk about some diacritics used in Portuguese. Diacríticos. We have already seen about cedilla. Now we will see other diacritics. Let's begin with acento grave, grave accent. In Portuguese, acento grave indicates the crase. Crase is the contraction or fusion of vowel sounds. Example: we have crase and acento grave when the preposition a is followed by the article a. Ele falou à mulher. He spoke to the woman. Another example: now we have the preposition a and aquela, a demonstrative pronoun. Ele comparece àquelas reuniões. He attends those meetings. Now let's see acento agudo. Acento agudo. Acute accent. There are rules for the use of this mark, but I won't mention them in this lesson. I will just show the mark and some examples. Note that when a syllable has this mark, it will be the tonic syllable of the word. Examples: lágrima, lágrima. It means tear. Café, café. It means cough. Míssil, míssil. It means missile. Sólido, sólido. It means solid. Saúde, saúde. It means health. Now let's see the acento circunflexo. Acento circunflexo. Circumflex. In Portuguese, acento circunflexo also indicates the tonic syllable, but it has a closed timbre. In Portuguese, acento circunflexo occurs in the vowels a, e, n, o. Let's see the examples. Lâmpada, lâmpada. It means lamp. Português. Português. It means Portuguese. Pivô. Pivô. It means pivot. Know the difference? Acento agudo. É, ó, café, sólido. Now, acento circunflexo. E, o, português, pivô. Now, know that the vowel A with acento circunflexo is usually followed by M or N. M or N. And in this case it has a nasal sound. Lâmpada, lâmpada. Pântano, pântano. Know the sound It has a nasal sound similar to the sound of the vowel with chew, chew. Tilde is another sign, and in Portuguese it gives a nasal sound to the vowels. Examples: maçã, maçã. It means apple. Irmã, irmã. It means sister. So a and chew, and a circunflexo, and m, a circunflexo, and n, One more thing, know that when a is followed by m or n, it will usually have a nasal sound regardless of acento circunflexo. Examples: tambor, tambor. It means drum. Antena, antenna. It means antenna. But in these last examples, the is not the tonic syllable. Okay? Now let's see more about the chew. Irmão, irmão. It means brother. Irmãos, irmãos. It means brothers or siblings. Avião, avião. It means airplane. The plural of avião is aviões, aviões, airplanes. Note that the chew can also occur with o, and the sound is o. Feijão, feijão, bean. Feijões, feijões, beans. Órfão, órfão, orphan. Órfãos, órfãos, orphans. Note the word órfão. It has acento agudo and chew. The tonic syllable is the one with acento agudo. Or. Okay? Now let's see the trema. Trema. We have already seen about this when you talked about que, gi, in another lessons. In Portuguese, in the past, trema was used to indicate that you should pronounce the U in some words like frequência, frequência, frequency, unguento, unguento, unguent. Now the trema was abolished, but the pronunciation is the same. Frequência, frequência, unguento, unguento. That is it. I see you later. Now let's see the conjugation of verbs that end in er and verbs that end in ir. In this lesson, we are only seeing regular verbs. We have already seen about the first conjugation, so in this lesson, we will talk about the second and third conjugations. Don't try to memorize everything, much of this content is not used in everyday language. Will you see the verb beber, beber, that means to drink, and the verb decidir, decidir, that means to decide. Infinitivo, beber, beber. Decidir, decidir. Gerúndio, bebendo, bebendo. Decidindo, decidindo. Particípio, bebido, bebido. Decidido, decidido. Presente. Eu bebo, tu bebes, ele bebe. Nós bebemos, vós bebeis, eles bebem. Eu decido, tu decides, ele decide. Nós decidimos, vós decidis, eles decidem. Pretérito imperfeito. Eu bebia, tu bebias, ele bebia. Nós bebíamos, vós bebíeis, eles bebiam. Eu decidia, tu decidias, ele decidia. Nós decidíamos, vós decidíeis, eles decidiam. Pretérito perfeito. Eu bebi, tu bebeste, ele bebeu. Nós bebemos, vós bebestes, eles beberam. Eu decidi, tu decidiste, ele decidiu. Nós decidimos, vós decidistes, eles decidiram. Pretérito mais que perfeito. Eu bebera, tu beberas, ele bebera. Nós beberamos, vós bebereis, eles beberam. Eu decidira, tu decidiras, ele decidira. Nós decidíramos, vós decidireis, eles decidiram. Futuro do presente. Eu beberei, tu beberás, ele beberá. Nós beberemos, vós bebereis, eles beberão. Eu decidirei, tu decidirás, ele decidirá. Nós decidiremos, vós decidireis, eles decidirão. Futuro do pretérito. Eu beberia, tu beberias, ele beberia. Nós beberíamos, vós beberíeis, eles beberiam. Eu decidiria, tu decidirias, ele decidiria. Nós decidiríamos, vós decidiríeis, eles decidiriam. Presente do subjuntivo. Que eu beba, que tu bebas, que ele beba. Que nós bebamos, que vós bebais, que eles bebam. Que eu decida, que tu decidas, que ele decida. Que nós decidamos, que vós decidais, que eles decidam. Pretérito imperfeito do subjuntivo. Se eu bebesse, se tu bebesses, se ele bebesse. Se nós bebêssemos, se vós bebesseis, se eles bebessem. Se eu decidisse, se tu decidisses, se ele decidisse. Se nós decidíssemos, se vós decidisseis, se eles decidissem. Futuro do subjuntivo. Quando eu beber, quando tu beberes, quando ele beber. Quando nós bebermos, quando vós beberdes, quando eles beberem. Quando eu decidir, quando tu decidires, quando ele decidir. Quando nós decidirmos, quando vós decidirdes, quando eles decidirem. Imperativo afirmativo. Bebe tu, beba ele. Bebamos nós, bebei vós, bebam eles. Decide tu, decida ele, decidamos nós. Decidi vós, decidam eles. Imperativo negativo. Não bebas tu, não beba ele. Não bebamos nós. Não bebais vós. Não bebam eles. Não decidas tu, não decida ele. Não decidamos nós. Não decidais vós. Não decidam eles. Now let's see other verbs of the second conjugation. Comer, to eat. Entender, to understand. Mover, to move. Perceber, to perceive. Viver, to live. Receber, to receive. And other verbs of the third conjugation. Dividir, to divide. Assistir, to watch. Invadir, to invade. Discutir, to discuss. Permitir, to permit. Resistir, to resist. That is it. I see you later. Now let's talk about complemento verbal, regência verbal, regência nominal. Complemento verbal, verb complement. In Portuguese, we say that a verb is transitivo direto if the verb is connected to the object without the use of a preposition. Examples: ela quer café. She wants coffee. Ela comprou leite. She bought milk. And we say that a verb is transitivo indireto if the verb is connected to the object with the use of a preposition. Examples: ela necessita de café. She needs coffee. Ela obedece a Daniel. She obeys Daniel. Note the prepositions. Necessita de. Obedece a. Let's also mention verbs that need no complement. Verbos intransitivos. Examples: ela dançou. She danced. Ela chorou. She cried. Intransitive verbs can be accompanied by adverbs. Ela dançou bem. She danced well. Ela chorou muito. She cried a lot. Some verbs have a direct object and also an indirect object. We say a verb like this is transitivo direto e indireto. Examples: ela falou coisas horríveis a Daniel. Ela falou coisas horríveis a Daniel. She spoke horrible things to Daniel. Ela ensinou matemática a Daniel. Ela ensinou matemática a Daniel. She taught math to Daniel. Depending on the context, the same verb may be in different categories. Let's see the verb falar. It can be intransitivo. Ela fala bem. She speaks well. It can be transitivo direto. Ela falou coisas horríveis. She spoke horrible things. It can be transitivo indireto. Ela falou a Daniel. She spoke to Daniel. It can be transitivo direto e indireto. Ela falou coisas horríveis a Daniel. She spoke horrible things to Daniel. Another situation. Some words have more than one meaning. Some verbs may have a different transitivity depending on the meaning. Example: verbo aspirar. When it has the meaning of aspirate, breathe in, the verb aspirar is transitivo direto. Ela aspirou o pó. She aspirated the dust. When aspirar has the meaning of to aspire, to wish, then aspirar is transitivo indireto. Ela aspira a um cargo. She aspires to a position. Regência verbal. Many verbs are commonly used with certain prepositions. Let's see some examples of verbs plus prepositions combinations. Assistir, watch. Assistir a. Example, ele assistiu a um jogo. He watched the game. Simpatizar, sympathize. Simpatizar com. Example, ele simpatiza com ela. He sympathizes with her. Precisar, need. Precisar de. Example, ela precisa de ajuda. She needs help. Pensar, think. Pensar em. Example, ela pensou em nosso caso. She thought of our case. Another situation with pensar. Pensar sobre. Ela pensou sobre o caso. She thought about the case. Regência nominal. Besides verbs, other types of words, like nouns and adjectives, are commonly used with certain prepositions. Let's see some combinations. Acessível, accessible. Acessível a. O livro está acessível a todos. The book is accessible to all. Compatível, compatible. Compatível com. Ele não é compatível com ela. He is not compatible with her. Capaz, capable. Capaz de. Ela é capaz de lutar. She is capable of fighting. Doutor, doctor. Doutor em. Ele é um doutor em filosofia. He is a doctor in philosophy. That is it. I see you later. Now we are going to talk about pronomes pessoais oblíquos. First part. Don't try to memorize everything, it's just an introduction, okay? In other lessons, we have already seen about pronomes pessoais do caso reto, ou pronomes nominativos. Let's remember. Eu, tu, ele, nós, vós, eles. Now let's see about pronomes pessoais oblíquos, acusativos, dativos, comitativos. In Portuguese, pronomes pessoais oblíquos most of times are used as direct or indirect objects, but they may have other functions. In Portuguese, they are divided in átonos and tônicos. Let's see them. Me, mim, comigo. Te, ti, contigo. Se, o, a, lhe, si, consigo. Nos, nós, conosco. Vos, vós, convosco. Se, os, as, lhes, si, consigo. Let's begin with the pronomes oblíquos átonos. Let's see some examples of pronouns being used, in this case as objetos diretos. Let's use the verb abraçar, that means to hug. Ana me abraçou, Anna hugged me. Ana te abraçou, Anna hugged you. Ana o abraçou, Anna hugged him. Ana nos abraçou, Anna hugged us. Ana vos abraçou, Anna hugged you. Ana os abraçou, Anna hugged them. Now let's see a few more examples of third person. Ana abraçou Daniel. Ana o abraçou. Anna hugged him. Ana abraçou Marta. Ana a abraçou. Anna hugged her. Ana abraçou a si mesma. Ana se abraçou. Anna hugged herself. Many times se will have a reflexive use. First and second person pronouns may also have a reflexive use sometimes. Examples: eu me abracei, I hugged myself. Tu te abraçaste, you hugged yourself. Now let's see the use of pronouns, in this case as objetos indiretos. Ana contou o caso a Daniel. Anna told the case to Daniel. A Daniel is the objeto indireto. Ana me contou o caso. Anna told me the case. Ana te contou o caso. Anna told you the case. Ana lhe contou o caso. Anna told him the case. Ana nos contou o caso. Anna told us the case. Ana vos contou o caso. Anna told you the case. Ana lhes contou o caso. Anna told them the case. Now let's see this situation. Ana lhe contou o caso. Lhe is the objeto indireto. Ana o contou a Daniel. O is the objeto direto. Now imagine both objects replaced by pronouns. We would have something like Ana lhe o contou. But in this case, there is a contraction, and we have lhe plus o, lho. Ana lhe contou. There are more contractions like this, but I will just mention this one. There are common and uncommon contractions. Nowadays, this kind of contraction is very, very uncommon, both in spoken and written language. Okay? Now let's mention another situation. First example, comprou-o. Second example, ele não o comprou. Third example, comprá-lo-á. Different sentence with different meanings. What I want to show is that sometimes the pronoun is after the verb, sometimes the pronoun is before the verb, and sometimes the pronoun is in the middle of the verb. There are rules for these situations, but I will not mention them now. I'm just showing, okay? The pronoun in the middle of the verb is a very uncommon situation that is almost never used in everyday language, okay? Now another situation. Eles vão comprar ovos. They will buy eggs. Eles vão comprá-los. They will buy them. When the pronoun comes after or in the middle of the verb and the verb ends in R, S ou Z, then we use the form lo, lá, los, las. When the verb ends in M, ão or oin, nasal sounds, then we use no, na, nos, nas. Example, peguem as chaves, get the keys. Peguem-nas, get them. So there are different kinds of nos. Nos may be a variation of us, third person plural pronoun. Nos may be a first person plural pronoun. Nos also may be the contraction of the preposition en plus the article os. In the streets, people usually don't say peguem-nos. The informal way, peguem eles, will be more common in spoken language. It's not correct, but it's very common. There was the first part about pronomes pessoais oblíquos. Now we have seen the átonos, okay? In the next part, we will see about pronomes pessoais oblíquos tônicos, okay? I see you later. Now we are going to talk about pronomes pessoais oblíquos, second part. We have already seen about the pronomes oblíquos átonos. Now we will see the pronomes oblíquos tônicos. Let's see some examples. In these examples, the pronouns work as objetos indiretos, and there is a preposition before each pronoun. Let's use the verb gostar, to like. Ela gosta de mim. She likes me. Ela gosta de ti. She likes you. Ela gosta dele. She likes him. Ela gosta de nós. She likes us. Ela gosta de vós. She likes you. Ela gosta deles. She likes them. Note this. Dele is a contraction of de plus ele. The same way, dela is a contraction of de plus ela. Another example. Nele, the contraction of em plus ele. Ela acredita nele. She believes in him. Now this situation. Ela gosta de si. In Portugal, the sentence may be translated as she likes you, but not in Brazil, okay? In Brazil, ela gosta de si means she likes herself, okay? And if you want to reinforce this meaning, you would say ela gosta de si mesma. A plural example, eles gostam de si mesmos. They like themselves. Do you remember when we talk about você? Você means you. Tu is second person. Ele is third person. The word você is related to the second person of speech, but grammatically it follows the third person. The pronouns and conjugations are the ones of third person. In Portugal, ela gosta de si can be she likes you. But in Brazilian Portuguese, ela gosta de si means she likes herself. If you want to say she likes you in Brazil, you can say ela gosta de você. And we have already seen the sentence. You can also use the proper second person pronoun ti. Ela gosta de ti. She likes you. Now look at this one. Você só fala de si. You just talk about yourself. Note the reflexive use. Okay? Now let's see the pronomes oblíquos tônicos comitativos. Here we have the pronouns with the preposition com, that means with. In some cases there is a contraction, the union of the preposition and the pronoun. These pronouns many times will have an adverbial function. Ela dançou comigo. She danced with me. Ela dançou contigo. She danced with you. Ela dançou consigo mesma. She danced with herself. Ela dançou com ele. She danced with him. Ele dançou com ela. He danced with her. Ela dançou com você. She danced with you. Ela dançou conosco. She danced with us. Ela dançou convosco. She danced with you. Eles dançaram consigo mesmos. They danced with themselves. Okay? In everyday language, it's very common the following sentences. Ela dançou com ela mesma. She danced with herself. Eles dançaram com eles mesmos. They danced with themselves. Another popular sentence would be ela dançou com a gente. She danced with us. Okay? Another situation with first and second person plural. Ela quer falar conosco. She wants to talk to us. Ela quer falar convosco. She wants to talk to you. Ela quer falar com nós todos. She wants to talk to us all. Ela quer falar com vós dois. She wants to talk to you two. Note that if there is some reference or explanation about the involved people, you will use com nós, com vós, but you not use them alone. That's it. I see you later. Now we are going to talk about pronomes possessivos, possessive pronouns. Pronomes possessivos, in Portuguese, work both as possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. Example, meu. Meu can be my or mine. Aquele é meu carro. That is my car. Aquele carro é meu. That car is mine. The word is the same, meu. But in Portuguese, when it precedes the noun, we call it pronome possessivo adjetivo. And when it replaces the noun, we call it pronome possessivo substantivo. In Portuguese, the pronome possessivo varies in gender and number according to the possessed thing, and it varies in person according to the possessor. So, masculine singular, meu. Feminine singular, minha. Masculine plural, meus. Feminine plural, minhas. Example, aquelas são minhas malas. Those are my bags. Aquelas malas são minhas. Those bags are mine. Did you see? Malas is feminine and plural. So we use minhas, feminine and plural. Now let's see all pronomes possessivos. Meu, minha, meus, minhas. Teu, tua, teus, tuas. Seu, sua, seus, suas. Nosso, nossa, nossos, nossas. Vosso, vossa, vossos, vossas. Seu, sua, seus, suas. Now let's see some examples. Ele abraçou sua irmã. He hugged his sister. Ela abraçou minhas irmãs. She hugged my sisters. Ela abraçou seus irmãos. She hugged her brothers. Você abraçou suas irmãs. You hugged your sisters. Note this last one. Remember that você is related to the second person of speech, but it uses the third person pronouns and conjugations. Another example. Tu abraçaste tuas irmãs. You hugged your sisters. Now look at this situation. Eu vi suas irmãs. It can be, I saw your sisters, or I saw his sisters, or I saw her sisters. These third person pronouns, seu, sua, seus, suas, leave space for ambiguity. How people solve this ambiguity? One way is to use dele or dela. Dele is the contraction of de plus ele. Example, eu vi as irmãs dele. I saw his sisters. Another one, eu vi as irmãs dela. I saw her sisters. Another examples of pronomes possessivos. O cachorro lambeu sua pata. The dog licked its paw. Eles são amigos meus. They are my friends. Here the possessive is after the noun. It's a possibility in Portuguese language. Ele ouviu o meu conselho, assim como o teu. He listened to my advice as well as yours. That is it. I see you later.